Hello. I got a text coming in here from a 23 and just passed my real estate exams. Friday, I'm looking for a...
All right, we are definitely live everywhere. Tommy, you awake?
Whoa, all them cookies, they got me.
Them cookies lay you back?
Cookies got me. Hey, surprise, I'm back on Real Estate 101.
Who is this guy?
Who is this mine? Let me find out. Look, if you're in the real estate game, or if you're thinking about buying and selling real estate right now, you need to listen up. I'm just gonna lay it out the way I see it. What's going on in our real estate market? Who knows? Who has an opinion? Who is greedy? Who is fearful? I'm Good Time Tommy. Welcome to Real Estate 101 at 1 o'clock, where every single Wednesday at 1 o'clock, somebody will be sitting in this chair to tell you like it is. Do me a favor. I do ask that you just do 3 things. Like the stream. All you got to do is hit like. Do it for me. Ask a question, and please share the stream. Joy Calvin, do you know Tony Woodall? He's also from Alabama. They say Row Tide. If we are, please don't tell my buyers and sellers. We already got some comments. Van Grafton, Kaylin, Ashley, Joy Calvin, Tony Woodall. Y'all ever heard me talk about Tony Woodall? Talk about that man quite a bit. So today I wanted to do the show, and Drew and the Rabbit, they already have plans. So it kind of worked out. Noah was going to do the show, but we asked if I could jump up in here because somebody tagged David Criswell. I talked to David this morning, and we were talking about where do we see this market going in the next 2, 3, 5 years. You know, it's very hard to know that far out because so many things could change. As a matter of fact, Roll Tide, Brother Woodall. As a matter of fact, in December of 2019, you would have never considered a problem coming up in the spring of 2021. What happened in the spring of 21, Josh?
In the spring of 2021?
Yep.
Steve,
Huh?
stuff's crazy.
Stevie, what happened? What happened in the spring of 21?
There's no inventory.
No.
There's nothing.
No.
Well, in 20 it was COVID.
I'm sorry, COVID.
well,
Yeah, 2020. Yeah. So if you were predicting in January, in November, December, how was the year going to look? Man, you never would have guessed. Hello, Shawan. I'm filling in for you today as you play with the baby. The baby. You would have never been able to predict something like that because so many things happen that you don't see. That's where the danger is in investing. Things pop up that you're not aware of. But I've talked to a lot of people like David, and we talked to somebody else on the phone today, and they're really, really concerned because prices have gone up, and they've been going up for a long time. So it's kind of like, when does the music stop? Do you remember a few years ago when you were in kindergarten, Josh? Y'all probably played this little bitty game where y'all got in these, like a circle, and there's like chairs.
Musical chairs.
Musical chairs. How long ago did you play musical chairs?
Probably a couple weeks ago.
Maybe a couple years ago. Well, as you're walking around there, they had Big Papa playing. And when they stopped Big Papa, y'all had to get in a chair, and everybody feels. So growing up, you have been conditioned in your mind to know, hey, sooner or later, something bad's going to happen. You've been taught that your whole life. Then you got old timers saying, well, let's talk about 2008. Things start to become familiar in people's minds, and then they start saying things, and then you can't make a decision unless you're certain. Unless it's a small decision. But for the most part, people need certainty to go out and buy a $350,000 house. They're not going to just do that on a whim. So then they start getting advice from people that they trust. And then this man has an opinion of what's going on, and he convinces you because you're not very certain. You're just listening to what he's saying. He's saying it with a lot of certainty, and you adapt to his belief. And then you talk to this lady, and she tells you something different. And then you talk to this guy, then this guy. Then you don't know what to believe.
Forget about it. I ain't buying no damn house.
Yeah, you do that. How are you making sense of what's going on right now? Let's just look. Gracie's on here. How many calls have you made today, Gracie? Let's just look at the logic right now and compare it to where it was in 2008 or before 2008. 2008, I was in the business. As a matter of fact, I put my fat picture up. I was getting fat back in those days. Times were easy back then, too. Real fat. So, back in those days, Josh has been in the business. He hasn't been in the business 2 years. It's really hard to get pre-approved to buy a house if you've been in business for less than 2 years. Back then, I could probably have gotten him approved. As a matter of fact, I probably could have gotten Josh pre-approved for like Puckett Station. I did that. I mean, I was showing no income hardly. My credit was okay because in college I didn't pay shit. I'd get them credit cards, then they'd start calling me. Well, finally, I man, I got to do something about this. So my credit still wasn't great. So I could buy homes with what was called just a stated income loan. That's the kind of things they had going on. Oh, and it got better. They would have these loans called 80-20. Now, Josh, you're a smart kid. What is 80 plus 20?
100.
That equals 100%. Back in the days, I could buy things with 100% financed. I would do the primary lender, like a Belinda, she would finance 80%, and then another bank would come in and finance that 20%. And they were banking on the bank of the appreciation model coming in and not having to worry about anything. Other things back in those days, hey, whenever you're me, it was called BC paper. That meant you weren't like very bankable, and you would have to buy from higher risk investors. And Santino, thank you for getting on here. Hey, what do you think this market's going to do, Tammy Burton, Santino, Gracie? What do y'all think? Where's it headed? So back then you would buy paper with higher interest rates. So I might have, I remember buying like a 7%, had 7%, but back then that wasn't crazy. Where people got into trouble was these lenders were getting greedy, and they had what was called a prepayment penalty. Has anybody ever heard of a prepayment penalty? If you pay your loan off early, you get penalized.
Really?
Hello, Andrea. I'm filling in for you. Thank you for getting on here. Drew, have you shared the stream? And where do you think we're heading? Yeah, you could.
So if I had a $200,000 loan and I was at 150 paying it off, and I paid the extra 50, they'd give me an extra payment.
No, it was more like this. It was more like it was a 30-year fixed. It was a 30-year, but after 5 years, it ballooned up. So one of my payments went from. One of my interest rates were at 7, but after that time was up, it went to like 10.5. All these things were going on for people, and then the market was slowing down, and these greedy bastards kept saying, "Oh, if you're going to sell it, you're going to have to pay this prepayment penalty." I remember trying to get some stuff worked out with this guy, and this dickhead wouldn't allow him to forfeit the prepayment penalty. I guess what ended up happening to him? Foreclosed just because of that greedy thing going on there. So I was one of these people where my house payment went like this, from $755 a month to like $1,100 a month. Think about that. All these resets happening, it was just crushing people. What if interest rates go up? We'll talk about that, Rabbit. Drew Kilgore, Middle Tennessee market isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So there was all these things back then that led to a foreclosure-driven decline. 38% of homes back in that day, 2009, 2010, were sold via distress. Foreclosure, short sale, it was something like that. So we go through this process, it works itself out, which leads us into the problem today. From 2008 to 2012, building and developing shut down. It just completely shut down. Nothing was being put back on the market. Like right now, we're short across the country. 3.8 million homes need to be built to fulfill today's needs. None of that was going on. Builders, developers were not doing anything. Then Wall Street was, these things were deregulated to where Wall Street firms could now go in and start gobbling up these houses at huge discounts. David Criswell, I wish you were on here because we could talk about this. Tag him again. Hey, somebody else needs to tag old Criswell to make sure we can't get his attention. So from 2012 and 13, they actually started the recovery before it was recovering because they were buying homes that looked like this. 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage, and they were probably paying $90,000 cash. Today, those homes are worth about $250,000. They still own them. As a matter of fact, right now, that starter home community, let's just assume they own probably close to 2,000 homes that they're not selling. They're gone. So now we're needing a lot of these homes to be reproduced, and we just can't. It just can't be done. So where are we right now? You know, we've been on a good run for going on 10 years. Interest rates are low, as Shawan said. Prices have started to tick up. This year, whoa, Stevie. This year, because of COVID and shortages of materials like lumber and other things, prices in the month of February alone spiked 10%. 10% in 1 month. As a matter of fact, that's almost about 3 years of historical appreciation, but it happened in 1 month alone in 2021. That's why people now are getting curious. Hey, we can hear you, Van. My viewers can hear you.
We're smuggling money across the board.
Yeah, Van, just say it. So people now are saying this just don't make sense. They can't keep justifying, how does this continue to work? Well, here's my opinion. Looking into the future, the next few months, there's just not enough supply out there to slow the market down. And I feel like we got a good pulse on this because we've already sold about 120 homes this year, and it's April. When we get a listing, if Ashley's still on here, I asked her this morning, Ashley, she was talking about it was on the market, and she's got showings like it was on the market today or yesterday. I'm like, Ashley, when do you think you'll sell it? And without any doubt, without any hesitation, with 100% certainty, it was like today. How many offers do you think you're going to have on it? She's like, I'm sure I'll get several. That's where we are right now on this little seesaw spectrum. Right now, it is such a huge seller's market. The market has got to go, it's got to level out to become normal before it starts to tilt towards a buyer's market. Right now, Ashley's got another listing coming up that's coming soon. $425,000. She's already got 2 sight unseen full price offers on it. Maybe one of them is above asking price. Is that what she was telling us? That ain't making no sense. When will this start to correct itself? I was telling Josh in the good old days. You weren't even in the business in the good old days. Here's what the good old days really looks like. You get your house on the market and it takes 30 days to sell it. And you get one offer. And usually your first offer in the good old days, in the normal days, and the way it should be, is your best offer. Now, when people how many agents do you see bragging about, well, I sold this house when we had 50 offers. $10,000 above list. Man, that don't mean anything. You didn't do that. The market's doing that. Quit taking credit for something that you ain't doing.
We can sell your house for over asking.
Yeah, okay, well, you're not doing it. You're just putting a sign in the yard, and the market's giving us that. So this will be the indicator of when things are starting to slow down. Something will cause the days on market to start building. Right now, if you were to go out and show a house that hit the market today at $300,000 or $299,000, Josh, what would be your biggest fear?
If I were to go show a house,
yep.
Obviously people bidding over.
Oh, good catch, Stevie. Good catch. Fast reflexes.
Multiple offers, over asking price, bids.
Is it fixed?
Yeah.
Good job. Good teamwork. Okay, so if it was $299 and you're going out to show it right now on the fly, you're already concerned about getting outbid.
By cash offers.
By cash offers. It's hard. People don't understand how hard it is to just buy a house under $400,000 right now. Tony Woodall, what if we are experiencing is the correction? Well, I don't know exactly. The correction I told David Criswell this morning, the correction is going to be normalization first. The correction is going to go from multiple, like 72% of deals I think are in multiple offers for us right now. That's what we're, like the last time you made an offer on something, was it multiple offer?
Yes.
The last time you made a deal on something, did you have multiple offer on the what you just sold? You did, in Woodbury.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say almost 75% of deals are multiple offer. What's got to become normal? What's got to become normal is days on the market has got to get past 1 day. Shit, I mean, it's ridiculous right now what's going on. It needs to be 30 days. It really needs to be 30 to 60 days. So the correction will look like this. Something, Brother Woodall, will happen to slow down the how fast people are buying. What could it be? It could be interest rates ticking up, but interest rates probably are going to stay under 4% through 2022. The other thing that could slow things down a little bit is prices. This will cause people to get up to it and be like, I don't know, I'm not certain about this. Right now, people can make a decision in seconds. How long will they be able to do that? Buying a $300,000 house today that's $350,000 next year, will they continue to be able to do that? Drew, harder to win offers in this market. Yes, I'm thinking 310 to 315 off the bat to have a shot. Okay, so what Drew is saying is if you were to go out and show a house that just came on the market, you run out there with your person, it's listed at $299. Buyers make sense of what people are asking for it. It's hard to get them to go over that number. Mm-hmm. What Drew's saying, to win this house, hey, Stevie, I know you want this house. Could you justify going $15,000 above asking price to get it? And lately, people are still doing it, which tells you this market ain't about to slow down. Now, could something unforeseen happen? Of course it could, because we didn't see COVID coming. And that wiped out a lot of business, not for real estate people, but it wiped out a lot of business. Our main things, supply and demand and finance. Right now, interest rates are just crazy level. Right now, it is a perfect storm that will probably lead to a future problem that we're not aware of. We don't know what the problem's going to be. We don't know. The other factor is so many people are moving into this town from California. They're selling their $1.1 million average home, and they're coming here and they're paying cash.
They got all that equity in that house.
They feel like, man, this is nothing. Think about what we don't know as people that live here. Like Tony Woodall used to say, the hardest thing you can ever do is unlearning what you know. We know Murfreesboro real estate prices, but the people moving here know their prices. So when they come here, it's a bargain. Jennifer, is it worth it to get into real estate now then? Get in as a real estate agent or get in as a real estate investor? Let me be clear before I answer that. Jennifer?
Larry wants to know, could inflation have any kind of factor on this?
Yeah, that'll have something to do with the interest rates. As like the price of things come up, they'll cool it off by raising those interest rates. So yeah, inflation is impacting us. Our our framing packages on some of our homes has gone from, let's say, $39,000 to $81,000. It's insane. People are still paying it. We're still doing pre-sales. You know why? Several of them are from California.
They got the money.
Jennifer says agent.
Well, here's what I'd say about an agent. Right now, and this will scare people, but if you're in real estate, if you're an agent, this is going to become 2008 was a very, very hard time for real estate agents. Well, now 2021, 2022 is going to be a very hard time for real estate agents. Currently 3 agents for every listing. Eric Hensley, what's up? That's another. Hey, Eric Hensley, I saw his post. Right now, this is what's ridiculous. He can get away with paying 1% on his buyer participation. That's how short things are right now.
What does that mean, currently 3 agents for every listing?
That means that let's say there's 100 listing, there's 300 agents, and we're all trying to sell that stuff. Right now, Eric and he can go out with his company, buy something, put it on the market, and almost offer no money, and somebody's going to come in there and buy it. This makes no sense. This is where it's very, very hard for agents to show you their value. Where agents have to demonstrate value today is not on the listing side, it's on the buying side when I can get you to win this deal. Shawan said inflation is here. Everything has gone up. Everything, Shawan. I think Shawan is, if we look at her numbers, she's already sold like 35 houses this year. She is so in tune with what's going on, whether it's Joey stuff or Donald stuff. She sees all this stuff. And I get to sit back and observe everything that everybody's going through, and that's how I can tell you right now today, the people that are waiting, it's going to continue to rise. Now, what you need to pay attention to is interest rates, okay? You need to pay attention to days on the market. That will be a leading indicator. When we go from, John put something out, I wish I'd have told you to put it up there, Van, but the inventory spiked a little bit last year, but it's insane how low it is right now. Like, a $300,000 house, you could probably just put on Facebook and have people trying to buy it from you. I mean, it's insane. The problem is whenever you do that yourself, you might make a mistake and take somebody that's doing a loan through somewhere that they shouldn't. It's not somewhere local. So then it's not about selling the house. It's about the decisions you've got to make to get it through to the closing line. So to clear this up, I do not see, and I could be wrong, I don't see any type of a slowdown until these multiple offers stop, days on market start to grow. That way the inventory can build up a little bit. Like if you walk in and you've only got one decision to make, one choice, one slice of pizza at a buffet, it's like a feeding frenzy to get to it. Right now, that's the way it is for buyers. It's so easy. There's so much built-in urgency that if they can get the house they wanted, it all changes when there's about 10 of them. I could get this one, I could get this one, or I could get this one. Then it slows it down.
No time to think.
There's no time to think right now, but there's a lot of time to think when there's options. Yeah. And then whenever there's a lot of options, their certainty drops. They don't make decisions. So what could happen is if prices keep going up enough, okay, or if the interest rates go up, or another thing we've talked about is, what if the hedge funds started like putting their houses out there, but they're all in rental agreements? I don't know. Right now, there's so much confidence. If they dumped them all, I think they'd all be bought by investors more than likely. So right now it's a great time if you own real estate. Should you buy real estate? We had that question today. Is it too late to buy? Well, I believe owning real estate is still the best way to grow wealth. Right now, people are just getting the benefit of overcorrecting what went wrong in 2008 and so much building and so many homes have been taken away. Right now, it's a perfect time. I think if you're going to own real estate for the long haul, it will always be your best investment. It's going to always be. But what's normal is about 3% appreciation. 10% in February, that's ridiculous. And what that tells you is it will become a problem. It's going to become a problem if prices keep going up so much and then you can't resell them. The market's not there. Can you resell a $700,000 house? Think about this. You've got a $700,000 house at you bought it at $665 at a 3% interest rate, and now you're trying to sell that house at $825,000 at a 5% interest rate. The purchasing power is just not there. Rates greatly affect this. Who's coming in here? Is that Baby Calf?
That's Big Josh.
Big Josh.
Right here.
Come on through. We're about to wrap up the show. Look, if you got any more questions, fire them at me. Jennifer, I'm sorry I didn't answer your question. You can ask my guys what I believe it takes to get into this business and make it. It has nothing to do with how good or bad the market is. What would I tell y'all it takes to make it in this business?
3 invisible assets.
How many calls do you have to come in here and make?
Me, 75 a day.
There's just so much effort that you got to put into it. You've got to be aligned with the right people. But of course you could make it in this. It does not matter about the market. What matters is, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Everybody, have a great day.